Speaking the other day about how much seems to have changed since 2020 and like the difficulties in connection since then. Something else I've noticed people talking about and something I've really felt myself is feeling like time's speeded up. It feels like everything's going so fast since then. And in a way, it makes sense to me because obviously everything got locked down, everything stopped pretty much. Loads of us were home all the time, we didn't have the same interactions with people. So everything felt much slower because it was much slower. Now, as soon as everything's gone back to the way it was before, now it feels really fast because it's going to, isn't it? It's really quick. Everything's on the go again all the time, which I'm going to be honest with you, I hate because it feels like we learned tons in lockdown. Yeah, it was super difficult and a lot of stuff happened. I mean, I had a really horrible mental situation in lockdown. I really did. It shaped me in the end. I've grown so much from it, and it's been for good in the long run. But it was an awful time. Um, but it feels like we learned a lot about life and what's most important and who's most important to us over stuff like material things and all of that, which I felt heavily long before that. And it kind of feels like people have just forgotten all that and gone back to where we were, which blows my mind, to be honest. But I'm getting off track. When it comes to time speeding up, one thing I came across which makes a lot of sense is that tends to happen as well when everything feels the same. When we do the same things every day, whether we're working or going somewhere or we're at home a lot, if we're just doing the same thing every day, the same conversations, the same actions, the same whatever, time feels like it's speeded up because nothing really stood out. Nothing stuck, nothing stood out as different to you. So it just, you forget that, it's gone. And so days like that turn to weeks, to months, to years if you're not careful. So, one way to try and feel like things are slowing down is to try and do something different each day. Anything different. It could be a tiny thing. It could be, if you are in work, it could be a different route to work. It could be engaging with somebody new that you don't know, a new conversation with someone that you know of but haven't really talked to in depth before. Trying anything different or learning something different is another big one. Because what happens then is when you do something different, it sticks out. It creates a memory that goes into the memory bank then. And it makes things feel like they're not just flying along, and it makes things feel a little bit more, puts more feeling into them as well. So if you're noticing that, if it feels like stuff's flying, give that a try. If things feel a little empty, just try something different or trying to learn something new each day. Tiny thing, that's all it takes, but something to create a memory. And that'll feel a bit more like purposeful, and it'll slow things down a tiny little bit more.